안녕하세요. Choi Jaechun입니다. Like Jessica before, this is all the Korean I'm going to speak today. Okay? Upon request from the organizers, I'm going to deliver my speech in English today. Okay? My topic here today is From Homo sapiens to Homo symbious. Now, I'm an evolutionary biologist. I study evolution of animal behavior, ants, magpies, and Javan gibbons, and all kinds of other animals. When I say I study evolution, that really means I look back all the time. I'm looking back to the past. That's what I do. So, I'm going to take you back to the very beginning, the beginning of the universe. If we convert the entire history of our universe into just 1 year, this is what it looks like. Well, everything began from a Big Bang, we're told. We're not talking about the idol star's Big Bang, but everything began with the Big Bang, and our own galaxy was born sometime in early May, okay? And then Earth appeared sometime in the fall, the beginning of September. Now, something we can call life began sometime early in October. And you all have seen, many of you probably have watched the Jurassic Park, right? The movie Jurassic Park. Those big animals we call dinosaurs, they were running around for quite a while on this planet. We think they're way, way back, but if we convert this way, they were doing that sometime around Christmas, maybe about 5 or 6 days ago, and then they disappeared. What we can call the humans, I'm talking about not just us, but perhaps very, very early human. They came about on the last day, but not even in the morning or in the afternoon. They came very late at night. Even if we really give a lot of leisure, they came very, very late at night. So what I'm talking about here is we, the humans, are really the last one, really the youngest members of this universe, of this planet. And yet, we claim that we own this planet, right? We became so-called the Lord of all creations. There are a number of big events that made us become that way. The first one is agricultural revolution. That is only 20 seconds ago. Now, Jesus Christ came back to save us, we're told, by Christians. That was 4 seconds ago. And we believe we are the cultural animal, the really culturalized animals. Renaissance was 1 second ago. So here I am telling all of you that the human existence on this planet is really, really minimal, really, really momentous in a way. But what we do, we are making enormous environmental disasters. No one has ever seen. The earth has never experienced this kind before. Now, every year, the Time magazine selects Man of the Year, right? But in 1988, they decided to choose Planet of the Year because they thought we're in big trouble. The planet Earth is in real big trouble. Now, and then we're having more trouble. Well, you don't feel dizzy every day, right? It's because, according to Greek mythology, the very buff god or diesel god named Atlas is holding us very tight. So that's why we don't feel every day just wobbly or anything like that. But lately, I hear that he's getting quite old and feeble. Mainly because there are just too many of us. 7 billion of us become so heavy. So he's having very difficult time. I'm also told that his eyesight is failing. He's going around very close to a cliff. If he makes one mistake, well, I don't want to talk about it. Yeah. And here comes the climate change. In recent years, this becomes such a big issue. We didn't know for quite some time that something like this magnitude is coming. But now we know, and I heard, you all heard from this man, the former Vice President Al Gore. He got Nobel Peace Prize in 2007 because we think he did an enormous job in telling everybody how serious, how critically important the climate change issue is by writing a book named An Inconvenient Truth. He also made a wonderful documentary. I think documentary really did the job. But since then, we the scientists have looked into this problem in more great detail, and now we know for sure, and I can tell you with great confidence, that the truth is a lot more inconvenient than what Mr. Al Gore has said. It is very, very inconvenient. Well, in 2009, there was a climate conference in Copenhagen. Our very own Korean Green Foundation participated, and a very wonderful young designer who won a lot of awards from all over the world, whose name is Lee Jae-seok. He produced this wonderful poster. It made a huge hit at the conference. Well, you can tell what that is, right? It's an elephant poop. Okay? So point is, whoever pooped, you should clean up after your mess, right? But right now, the biggest nations, United States, China, and some of other nations who produced more carbon dioxide and all kinds of dirty gas, they don't do enough. And this all comes to the small countries like Korea and many other nations in the world. This is not fair. The biggest countries have to take the responsibility. Now, climate change was an issue that was relatively easy to sell. And we're experiencing it, right? We're so hot and humid in Seoul. This is incredible, right? So everybody is saying, wow, climate change is real. So this is relatively easy to scare the general public. But climate change perhaps is not the problem. Okay, the temperature goes up. Well, let's all stay in coax, okay? It's nice and cool here. Now, that may not be the real problem. The real problem is when the temperature goes up, enormous amount of biodiversity will disappear and Earth ecosystem will get destroyed. That's the real problem. But biodiversity depletion is very difficult to sell. It doesn't happen every day in your very own eyes. Now, we've been talking about polar bears. Well, yeah, polar bears are drowning these days. Well, in the past, they go into the ocean and grab something to eat. They come out. There's always ice nearby so that they can climb up. But now, when they come up, ice is so far away. So they get so tired while they're swimming to get there. This is what's happening. Okay, sometimes you hear this from somebody like me or from, let's say, 9 o'clock news at night. Wow, you're saying, geez, that's great, they're disappearing. Nobody is saying that. You get very sad, right, when you're hearing such news. But 10 seconds later, you hear some politicians getting bribes and all over, and you'll forget all about polar bears. It's not like a climate change issue that you feel by your skin every day. The biodiversity problem is happening somewhere else, not in our daily life. This is the problem. Well, personally, I have a slight different experience. There's an amazing animal called the golden toad. And in the 80s, I used to go to countries like Panama, Costa Rica, somewhere in the Central America to do my research. I'm a tropical biologist. And a place called Monteverde, a sub-montane cloud forest, somewhere in Costa Rica, a country called Costa Rica, there used to be these animals up in the mountain. I saw them twice at night, and they were amazingly beautiful. Then, ever since that time, I've never seen them anymore. And in fact, they're now declared extinct. Well, you probably don't have that kind of experience. You used to know an animal, but people say that animal no longer exists on this planet. Well, but I do. And this is a very funny feeling. I don't know why I do, but I go to Indonesia, and at night I put my headlight and go out to look for them. They're not in Indonesia, I know. I'm not that stupid. But I go out anyway. I don't know. Perhaps I may see them. Perhaps they moved. That's why we don't find them. No, they've gone extinct. That's probably true. This is what's happening. We have to know. We have to really find out about disappearing species. Right now, we're experiencing the 6th mass extinction. There have been 5 great extinction events in the history of the Earth. Now, very interesting difference between the previous 5 and the current one is that previous 5 all had something to do with natural catastrophe. But right now, the 6th one is not associated with anything like that. The 6th mass extinction is occurring only because there's one species who is making a whole lot of trouble. That's us. And we should do something about it. Because when everything is said and done, we think the 6th one is going to be the greatest one the Earth ever have experienced. Well, I hear these days the price of cheese is going up in the US market. Gee, I wonder why. And I learned that the answer is these people somehow got the taste of it. The Chinese now like to taste the cheese. That doesn't mean if you go to a Chinese family, after dinner, they bring out wine and then they cut the cheese and then chang, and then they go like that. No, the Chinese is curious. They say, why these Europeans and Americans like these, this food that smells like your feet in a way? So they take a tiny piece. That makes the price of cheese going up in the US market. Why? China has just an enormous market. What the Chinese market does controls the direction of world market. Now, it's not just China who does it. We all hear many times the nations called BRICS: Brazil, Russia, India, China. Sometimes these days we call it a little longer, BRICS, because we want to put Indonesia in there. So Brazil, Russia, India, Indonesia, China. These 4 or 5 nations are trying to create industrial revolution. They want to live, as well as United States. They want to live, as wealthy as Europeans. Now, the first industrial revolution occurred in United Kingdom. It was a small country. So perhaps natural resource wasn't really a big issue. But if you put together the populations of these 4 or 5 nations, that's the half of the entire human populations. Now, half of entire human populations is doing industrial revolution. Now, the big problem is we don't have enough things to do for making things in a way. Well, the most critically important natural resources are the ones like these. Many of us started worrying about water shortage, and then energy depletion. But lately, many people are very, very concerned about food. Especially in Korea, I think food is going to really give us a very, very difficult time, more than energy and water, in my opinion. In the next 10 or 20 years, we will have very, very difficult time because of food. And one day, I switched around the order of these 3 things, and I lined up food, energy, water, and then I took the initials. F-E-W. Few. Wow. This is great. So I'm writing a book right now with the title, Few. One of the American publishers just asked me whether I could write a book with them. So I'm considering it. This is quite interesting. I really never talked about this outside Korea, but because of the internet, I guess somebody found out. I've been talking about this issue for a few years. So perhaps in a year or 2, you might be able to read this book if I get my acts together, I guess. Now, well, if you are a biologist like myself, we like to classify things, and we like to discover things, and we go out and look at unknown biota, so to speak. We discovered new species, and based on taxonomic classification system, we put them together. The closely related ones are grouped them together. So there are many species that belong to a same genus. So for instance, Musca is the housefly genus. And in Musca, we have a number of species. A very interesting thing is the genus name we belong to is Homo, right? And within the genus Homo, there's only one species. You know why? Because there used to be a lot of Homo species. Homo habilis, Homo erectus, Homo whatever. But we couldn't take them. We didn't want to share the earth with them. So we got rid of all of them. We are the most exclusive animal you've ever find, you ever see on this planet. We got rid of all of them. So Homo sapiens is here. And suddenly we decided to call ourselves wise human beings. Sapiens means wise. Well, we used to call ourselves in various names, but in the end, we decided to really self-promote ourselves. We are the wise human beings. Are we really wise? Are we really wise? I'm asking. Yes, we have a very good brains, perhaps the best brain in the world, right? I understand that. But if we are really wise, why did we destroy our own environment this way? We can't even drink, safely. We can't even breathe our own air. Is this a wise animal can do? No, I disagree. I very strongly disagree that we can call ourselves wise human beings. So I decided to change all of this. Let's really be humble about it. Well, I often talk about a tale of 2 caves. Well, obviously it is a parody of Charles Dickens' A Tale of Two Cities. Think about it. In old days, there were two caves. In one cave, there are a very, how should I put it, very conscientious people. They don't want to destroy their environment, so they always clean up their caves. And at night, there's no light outside, but they want to go out to go to bathroom. And the first son went out and didn't come back because tiger got him, and all this. All right. Compared to that cave, the other cave, everybody feels very easy. They eat everything. They, put all the garbage everywhere, and they don't go out at night. They just pooped somewhere inside the cave. Well, it gets dirty. But what did we do? We just go out and find new cave, and you move. That's all we had to do. It was easy. Life was easy. The problem is now there are no more empty caves to move in anymore. Now we have to clean up. Now we have to worry about our environment. This is not in our genes. We're not born to take care of our environment. This is something we have to learn. This is something we have to recognize and get our acts together. So we think we've been more or less brainwashed that competition is everything. Yes, competition is unavoidable. There are only little resources available. There are so many people. So we have to compete. But competition all the way is the only answer? No, I disagree with this. If you think about the group that is the heaviest altogether on this planet, they're not whales, they're not elephants, they are the plants. Flowering plants are the heaviest by putting together. Now, in terms of number, who is the most successful? They're insects. Insects and flowering plants, did they compete all the time? Did they try to kill each other all the time in their success story? No, they helped each other. Symbiosis, mutualistic interaction was actually more powerful tool, powerful way to become more competitive. So I'm saying now we need ecological switch. You've been hearing, all from the speakers that this is what we need. We have to think differently now. Until now, we thought, the way we do was good enough. But no. Now, if we continue that way, we will destroy ourselves. Our mind has to get reset in a way. So we need ecological switch. That's why I'm saying, let's give up the self-promoting name called Homo sapiens, wise human beings. Let's get reborn as Homo symbious. We like to help each other. We like to think about others before us, and we can do it because we are the smartest animals on this planet. Thank you very much. 감사합니다.